So we're going to go back to basics really to start with. So being able to communicate is a skill that some people with learning disabilities may need some support with. Vocabulary, sorting information, understanding your tone of voice, body language, retaining information, it all makes up elements of our conversations. And many people will need some extra time just to process your questions and your message. Every so often, we just need to keep our language or our questions easy, just to make sure that people really fully understand what we want to say or perhaps ask. So to use my example of a cup of tea, when you ask someone, could you make me a cup of tea, please? But sometimes we suddenly slip in to metaphors and similes, and we suddenly start saying, oh, can you brew up a cup of Rosie Lee? I know it's an extreme way of looking at such an easy question, but language can get unnecessarily complicated just by using these metaphors and slang. So always keep it simple. Another area that can be a challenge is when you need some specific information. Some people may have restricted knowledge of vocabulary, but don't be put off by that. This is where pictures, drawings and other forms of communication can really support you. The people in the picture here are using something called a talking mat. Don't put too many pictures on the mat, but do get people to sort of have a picture that represents what they want to say, and it really can help. By using these simple pictures, emojis or even drawings, you can build up a picture of what perhaps people want to say, or even perhaps what's happened. You can download pictures from any browser. Ensure that you agree with what each picture represents though for each individual you work with. Don't assume, always inquire. Everyone is different. So somebody holding their hands over their ears might not necessarily mean noise to some people. It might think they've got a headache or an earache. So do just check when you're showing pictures to people. Another area that really helps when you're working with people with a learning disability is to just ask one question at a time and give people a chance to process what you're asking. What's happening here, perhaps you could ask with this picture that's on the left, and repeat it. What's happening here? Once they've answered, make it about them. Can you tell me what happened to you? And then maybe have a selection of pictures for them to choose. And I'm sure you all know about leading questions. Did Johnny smack, punch or hit you? You're not going to necessarily get the answer that you want there, so be careful. When you do get your reply, say it exactly how they say it and check back on their understanding. Make sure people can hear you okay. Some people with learning disabilities have undiagnosed hearing deficiencies, and avoid places where noise can be distracting. Make sure you're not interrupted because that will break the person's concentration. And don't be near strong smells either. There's nothing more enticing than the smell of a bacon roll. It's also worth noting that concentration may also be an element you might need to take into consideration. Some people need a break every now and then. And here's some signs for you. The signs here are they're quite easy to follow. And these might help you if ever you wanted to use them to kind of add to your communication. So a quick summary, keep it simple, use easy words, try not to use too many sayings, use pictures where speaking and vocabulary is perhaps a little bit more challenging for people. Ask questions about the pictures before asking for further information, just to check you agree on what the pictures represent. Ask one question at a time and don't change the question format, keep it the same. Make sure people can hear you. Avoid any distractions, otherwise they will avoid the questions. And use signs or gestures if you feel this supports understanding. But do speak as you sign, don't suddenly stop speaking. So this concludes this short 5-minute video. If you do need any further information about what Talkback can offer you to help you with your role, do please get in touch with us. Thanks very much for listening and see you on the next video.